before, my friend. But I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. So you can wipe off that green. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Oh I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reasons why you keep your silence up. No, you don't fool me. Well, the hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. No stranger to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. Oh
He's a Florida man, Lou.
Never made it as a wise man.
Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. NASA is here. Hound Dog, Uncle Flu, Kane Ozman, Silly Goose, William Lee, Blue Wildcat 25. Ohio sucks. I'm pretty sure he's just talking about the state there too. So that's cold blooded. Clemson Carson, good morning, sir. Dog bite. Yeah, draft tonight at 11:15. Drew Campbell, Roy Orbison. Jeez, hadn't heard from you in a long time, sir. Been a while since you put any new music out too, I'm pretty sure. Sea Dog West, Big Dog Brett, what's up, buddy? You know Georgia ain't played nobody, sir. General Shadow Man, Slim Mosley, Papa Smurf's in the house. Good morning, sir. John Brower, Doggy Jones, MP Vortex, Deep Barrow, our French connection. Sooner fan, good morning. Personal lemon scent. Oh, Pine Sol, I'm sorry. Celine Driver, good morning. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for all your support. Tyrants 5, good morning, sir. Probably said that name wrong. If I did, I'm sorry. Might be Terrence. I don't know. I didn't name you. Eric, good morning. Yeah, we know you're partially French by your last name, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Edward Durrett, Kentucky fan. Unlimited reactions starts tonight. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Welcome everybody to the stream. You know what? I have to admit something here. This is not something I'm proud of. I normally try to stay on top of college football news. Usually one of the first things I do in the morning, and I come out here about 5 o'clock every morning. Usually one of the first things I do is look up any college football news. And I didn't do that today. I went straight to, because I had to make 2 videos today, the channel update and then the Florida video. I went straight to making videos today. I had no idea the coaches poll came out today when I made either one of those videos today. I had no clue, or I would have at least mentioned it. I was watching SportsCenter or Pal Fanbaum, whoever it is, or something. I don't remember. It might have even been in the radio on the car, and I heard them talking about the coaches poll that came out today. And I said, well, how did I miss that? So anyway, I'm sure all you guys have seen it by now. I'm going to put it up on the screen here real quick. And I'm just going to run through it real quick. And I'm just going to give you my brief reactions. Any teams I think are out of place or whatever. We'll start with the top 4. Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma. The top 3 are the same pretty much anywhere you look. Any idiot, including myself, that's put a poll out has had those same 3 teams top 3. I have seen some people put polls out with Alabama number 1. Makes no sense to me. I think Clemson is should be a clear number 1 headed into the season. But in any case, Clemson 1, Bama 2, Georgia 3. They have Oklahoma at 4. I don't have a problem with that. I think you could put Oklahoma there. I think you could put Ohio State there. I think you could put LSU. Basically, any team 4 through 7. I really don't care how you mix those teams up. Of course, I had Michigan at 4. I caught a lot of grief for that, but I'm standing by it until I'm proven wrong yet again, which, it's likely that I will be. But in any case, I did have Michigan 4, but you see it there on the screen. They've got Oklahoma at 4. Ohio State 5, LSU 6, Michigan 7. Like I said, I don't really have a problem. I think that's a pretty good top 7. Florida at 8, Notre Dame at 9, and Texas at 10. Again, I don't have a problem with any 3 of those teams in any particular order in 8, 9, and 10. If somebody wants to try to tell me Texas should be 8, okay, I'll buy that. If they want to try to tell me Notre Dame should be 8, I'll buy that. If somebody tries to tell me Florida is too high and should be 9 or 10, I'll buy that. I'll buy Florida at 8. I think this is a pretty good top 10 list. Now, of course, I'm not looking at the comments, but I'm 100% sure that at least one person has typed that, the poll is meaningless. Yes, the poll is meaningless. It's a preseason poll, plus the coaches poll means nothing anyway. The playoff poll is the only one that matters. That doesn't come out to the middle of October, whenever it is. End of October, I think. But this gives us something to talk about here. I think this is a pretty solid top 10. I really don't have any major complaints about anything within the top 10. Texas A&M at 11. Now, to me, this is a tough one here because you guys have heard me say all offseason, I think Texas has the possibility of being the best 4 or 5 loss team in the history of college football this year. I still believe that. So, and here's another problem with polls. And this is why when I do my top 10, this is why it's 30 minutes long and all I do is a top 10, because I don't expect you to agree with everything I put in my top 10, but at least I give an explanation of why I put each team where I put them. I don't know why they have Texas A&M here at 11. I don't know what criteria, and hell, all these coaches may use different criteria. I don't see any way possible Texas A&M finishes the season ranked 11th. I'll just tell you that right now. Now, they may be the 11th best team in the country, but I see no way that they finish 11th because their schedule is ridiculous, and I don't think they can win enough of those difficult games to have a record strong enough at the end of the year to be 11th. So again, if someone wants to knock Texas A&M down on this list to maybe even 17 or 18, and you tell me the reason is because you think they're going to lose 4 or 5 games, I buy that. I agree with you. If someone wants to tell me they like Texas A&M at 11 because they think Texas A&M is about the 11th best team, I buy that too. 12 and 13 is interesting to me. We don't have any Pac-12 teams until you get to 12, Washington, Oregon, 13. Most people all offseason have thought Oregon was going to be the better team. Now, if you've been listening to Uncle Lou, you would have figured out the fact that I think Washington is the better team. In fact, when I haven't done a Washington preview yet, but when I did my Oregon preview, I had them losing to Washington. So, I don't think both of those teams are going to finish in the top 15, but I think it's possible one of them finishes in the top 10, so I've got no problem with Washington and Oregon at 12 and 13. Penn State at 14, I don't buy that. That's the first one I have a big problem with here. I do not think Penn State is a top 15 team this year. You guys probably heard me say if you've been paying attention. And that's another thing. These preview videos that I do, I may not have done a Penn State preview yet, but I've done several teams that have played Penn State. So if you watch the videos I've done on teams that have played Penn State, then you've heard me talk about Penn State. I think this is a transitional year for Penn State. I don't think they're a top 15 team. New quarterback, new running back, questions on defense. I can't name one wide receiver on their team without looking it up. James Franklin might be the best part about this team in 2019, and he ain't worth a 14th ranking on his own. Utah at 15, I can see that. They've won the Pac-12 South a couple of times, probably the third or fourth best team in the Pac-12, so I can see that. Auburn at 16, I think that's probably right. I mean, let's be real. If the quarterback situation works out at Auburn and the offensive line situation works out at Auburn, they could be top 10 in November like they were a couple of years ago, staring down the barrel of Georgia and Alabama in a win and you're in type thing. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a possibility, so I got no problem with Auburn at 16. UCF at 17, I think that's too high. I think UCF has gone from getting not enough credit to now getting too much. I don't think UCF will finish ranked in the top 17. Wisconsin at 17, maybe that's a product of the division they play in. People are just figuring they're going to win 9 or 10 games. I don't know. I think they won 8 last year. I like Jonathan Taylor. The rest of their team is made up by a bunch of question marks, though. That may end up being a little bit too high. I would probably put Iowa ahead of Wisconsin at this point. The other thing that I notice right away, since we're talking about Wisconsin and then Iowa is right below them, where's Nebraska here? I know I'm higher than Nebraska on most people, but I think Nebraska's a legitimate top 25 team this year. And I think they're better than Wisconsin and Iowa. So I may be wrong, but I would have Nebraska somewhere in this poll. Michigan State at 20. I've been hearing from a lot of people that Michigan State is way underrated this year and they're going to have a great year. I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked into Michigan State that much yet. Haven't done a preview on them yet. But they do tend to have their best years when people aren't focusing on them that much and people aren't focusing on them that much. Washington State at 21. They have no defense. Mike Leach is going to have an offense. How much of an offense? Well, that depends on what kind of quarterback they get in there. They lost that record-setting quarterback they had last year, Gardner Minshew, whatever his name was, so we got to see what they do. Again, it's kind of hard to figure out the Pac-12 because you can win 8-9 games in the Pac-12, which would give you a top 20 or top 25 ranking. It still doesn't make you a very good team, though. Syracuse at 22. Jeez, is that the second ACC team? Are you telling me that I have to go all the way? Am I skipping a team somewhere? Clemson at 1. Boy, this is pitiful. There are 1, 2, 3. There are 4 Pac-12 teams in the top 25, right? 5 Pac-12 teams in the top 25, 2 ACC teams. The ACC has disappeared. boy. Miami and Florida State, come out, wherever you are. The ACC needs you. You're getting humiliated by the Pac-12 here. Come on, this is crazy. Where's Virginia? Virginia should be on this list. Anyway, Syracuse at 22, Stanford at 23. I don't know about that. Iowa State at 24. That may be a little bit too low. I think Iowa State could win 8 or 9 games this year, maybe finish in the top 20. We'll see. Northwestern at 25. Okay. Anyway, I guess I'll just leave that up on the screen so people can argue about it. If you want to call and argue with me about it, 706-510-6817 is the number. Run through these super chats real quick. If the phone rings, I'm going to jump on the phone, and then I'll get back to the super chat. So let's see what we got here. Snowbird, thank you, sir. Slim Shady Canes, Lou, time to put you out to pasture with Lee Corso 2 prediction videos. Way off. Well, we'll see who's way off when you play Florida, sir. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello. I was wanting to know if you think Georgia's going to black out for Notre Dame.
No, I don't.
On September 21st.
No, I don't think so.
You don't?
No. I'm not saying I'm not saying Kirby always tells the truth, but when he got to Georgia, he said he would never do it in the first month of the season. Because it's too hot, and I agree with him. I think if we do it, and I'm all for black jerseys. I wish we'd wear them at least once every couple of years. I think if we do it this year, it'll be the Texas A&M game.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Give me another question. You think Harry gonna lose his spot at second string running back? 'Cause I really don't like him that much, to be honest with you.
I like him. I don't think he's anywhere near the quality of running back that Georgia is used to having at the number 1 or the number 2 spot, but he's reliable. He does things the right way. It's a good story. So I like Brian Herrien. And I think he's a good – I mean, you gotta remember this guy's a senior. He's played all 4 years. He's got a ton of experience. He's a great guy to put in there in the fourth quarter when maybe we're up by a couple of touchdowns and you're looking to chew some clock or something like that. He's reliable. He's not going to fumble. He knows the plays. He can pass block. You know what you're getting out of him. So if you need to take a Swift or a Cook or a Zeus or somebody out of the game to rest him in the fourth quarter, I love that we have somebody that's as experienced as Herrien is. So I would agree that he's probably not up to the talent level that we're used to at the number 1 or the number 2 spot. But I'm glad we have him.
Yeah, what about I think we're gonna go 12-0 this year. I think the schedule sets up good for that.
It's a possibility. We'll be favored in every game. We favored in double digits in almost every game. So we'll see. Notre Dame first real test at home. I don't think that game will be very close. I think we'll beat them by 3 scores. And then now the last 4 or 5 games of our schedule is really, really hard. Even though we're better than all of those teams, it's definitely possible we drop one of them. I mean, you got starting with basically the Florida game. You got you got Mizzou, Florida, Kentucky, Auburn, Texas A&M, and Georgia Tech. So that's not necessarily an easy last 5 or 6 games. It wouldn't surprise me if we lost one. But Georgia should be favored on all of them.
Who do you think is going to be our starting receivers this year? Because we lost a bunch.
Yeah, I think you have Tyler Simmons on one side, Demetrius Robertson in the slot. And if I had to pick right now, I would say Lawrence Cager would be the other wide receiver on the other side. But I don't think Lawrence Cager will finish the season as a starting receiver. Georgia needs either George Pickens or Blaylock to pick things up really, really quick. We need one of those 2 guys to have an impact this year.
Yeah. What do you think about my boy Tommy Bush? Think he's gonna play some this year?
I think we're so inexperienced at wide receiver that I think almost every wide receiver we have is going to play some. I haven't really seen anything from Tommy Bush yet that makes me think he's going to have a breakout year. I would maybe guess a Kyrus Jackson ahead of him, but we'll see. Kyrus Jackson, Tommy Bush, Matt Landers. Matt Landers has feet for hands, though. Dude can't catch. So I think the first couple of weeks it'll be sort of a hodgepodge of wide receivers until they sort of figure it out. But we better figure it out by week 4.
All right, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the call. Have a great morning also, and too. Yep. I guess Slim Shady Canes, I guess you're talking about the Miami and Florida videos being way off since I picked Miami to lose, but breaking news, it would be a huge upset if Miami won that game. So, Troy Moses, thank you for the super chat, the donation. Florida 10-2, Georgia 9-4, Trolls undefeated, excited for the season. It might be one of the worst predictions I've ever seen. You got Florida at 10-2 playing 12 games. You got Georgia at 9-4 playing 13. Makes 0 sense. Literally impossible. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. All right. Try again when you're ready to talk. If Florida goes 10-2 and Georgia goes 9-4, I'm very curious to know how that happens. How it is that Georgia plays in the SEC championship game at, I'm assuming, 9-3 instead of Florida at 10-2. Feel free to explain it to me. Celine Driver, no, I have not. I've been a combination of lazy and lazy. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's going on, Lewis? Big dog.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I want to bounce some ideas off of you.
All right.
Do you think if South Carolina goes, let's say that they manage to only lose the 4 games to the biggest teams they play, I think they'll lose probably 1 or 2 more. Do you think that South Carolina's is willing to hang on to him for 2 more years to try and give him an opportunity to get that program turned around, seeing as how he has improved over what they've had previously?
Yeah, he just got an extension. He's the winningest coach in the first. No South Carolina coach has won more games in their first 3 years than Will Muschamp has. So that combined with the fact that you look at their schedule this year, they could go 3-9. He's not getting fired. I don't see any way. There's not very many teams in America that could play South Carolina's schedule and win more than 8 games. Maybe 3.
Oh, I completely agree.
So Will Muschamp sort of, I think he has a mulligan this year. Now, short of some sort of disaster like, you can't ever predict like some sort of off the field incident. And as far as we know, Will Muschamp's never had any problems or issues or anything like that. But unless it was something like that were to happen, or like 2-10 with losses to FCS teams or something. Just winning 4 or 5 games against that schedule, considering what he's done his first 3 years there. And I'm not trying to say he's been an elite coach or an elite team his first 3 years there, but again, more wins his first 3 years at South Carolina than any coach in South Carolina history. And I could think of 2 coaches that have national championships that coached at South Carolina that South Carolina fans think. Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier. And, Muschamp has more wins in his first 3 years than either of them had in their first 3 years. Again, I'm not saying Will Muschamp is an elite coach, but you got to consider the expectations at South Carolina. So I don't think he's getting fired this year no matter what. It's hard to say for next year yet. I would have to wait and see how he actually ends up doing this year. But he did just get an extension.
So do you think that if he's able to pull off a decent year, let's just say they managed to pull out a winning record, and they win a bowl game, do you think he would give his credit to be able to leverage that type of schedule when he's trying to recruit? Because he's never been a phenomenal recruit. Say, hey, look, we did this with these players. These players weren't that great. We just need some great players.
No. I don't think great players want to go to a team that tried hard and lost to Alabama, Clemson, and Georgia by 20 points each because they only lost by 20 points. I'm not saying he won't get any elite players, but if he does, it won't be because they tried hard against 3 good teams and lost.
All right.
I mean, South Carolina's never been able to recruit at a high level, so I don't think that's Will Muschamp's fault completely. Right. I mean, there's not – I hate saying this because it comes off the wrong way. I always say there's not a lot of high school talent in South Carolina. I mean that relative to some of the other bigger like relative to Georgia, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, California. I mean, South Carolina is nowhere close to that. And it just sucks. I mean, South Carolina is sandwiched between 2 of the top 5 programs in the country right now that are each recruiting at an insane level, Georgia and Clemson. Yep. So they're just in a tough spot there. I mean, I hate South Carolina, and I would love nothing more than to dogpile on them. But I just think you got to give them some slack this year because that schedule is just brutal, and they're just in a tough spot with Georgia and Clemson right now when it comes to recruiting.
All right. I believe I'm going to change the subject real quick, and I'll give somebody else an opportunity. Do you believe that Coach O for LSU is making the right decision by trying to change his offense to more of a spread offense? He come out and said that.
Yes. They got to do something.
That's a bad move.
I mean, whatever they've been doing for the last 8 years isn't working. They've tried a bunch of different offensive coordinators. They've tried different styles of quarterbacks. They've tried recruiting quarterbacks. They've tried transfer quarterbacks. And Burrows is about the best they've had since Jamarcus Russell, and he's not lighting anything on fire, but, you know, he's better than what they've had. But, I mean, the thing is, they got to do something. They can't keep putting 8 players in the NFL every single year, but losing to Alabama 29-0. I mean, you've got to have some type of offense, and it's not just LSU that needs to figure this out. I use this as an example all the time, but Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach of all time. He's a dictator. It's his way or no way. He's hard-headed. He's a defensive head coach who for years wanted a quarterback who didn't do anything other than not throw interceptions. That's all he wanted. A quarterback that could hand the ball off and not throw interceptions, and a defense that could hold teams under 10 points, and he was perfectly happy winning conference titles and national championships 20-10. He saw that college football was changing, and if Nick Saban saw that, and he's the greatest coach in the history of all time, and he saw that his brand of football, his style of football was not going to win, he changed. Everyone else needs to realize that too, including Kirby Smart.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give somebody else an opportunity to jump on here. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call. You're not winning a national championship with a pocket passing quarterback that throws for 2,800 yards and rushes for -30. It's not happening. Period. And you can write that down or record this or whatever else you might need to do. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. Thank you for answering my call. And today, I'd like to talk about James Coley, the offensive coordinator at Georgia.
Okay.
And so, you know, Jim Chaney, a lot of times when he got down to the goal line, you know, he would like to throw like 3 fades in a row and then kick a field goal or whatever instead of just running the ball, you know. But, I'm actually kind of glad that Jim Chaney is gone because he did that stuff. But, so what are your thoughts that James Coley will bring to the table and that Jim Chaney didn't?
I hope he's a lot more aggressive and knows how to run a grown-up passing game. That's really what I want. I hope that if James Coley has an offense with 3 NFL wide receivers and an NFL tight end on it, that he figures out how to use them. That's what I hope. I hope James Coley will be left alone by Kirby Smart. That's what I hope. I hope Kirby Smart will realize that you hire an offensive coordinator to coordinate the offense, not to be your own personal do-boy. So I hope Kirby Smart leaves him alone. I hope he's more aggressive. I hope we throw the ball more. I hope we use tight ends over the middle. I hope we have a grown-up passing tree that includes 15-yard in routes, 15-yard out routes, high-low routes, combo routes, not this kindergarten stuff we've been running the last 2 years. I'm glad Chaney's gone in that removes one of the possible excuses that a lot of people like to use. There will be no more blaming Chaney. But the problem is Chaney was scoring 40 points a game, and it wasn't that long ago we ran Mike Bobo off because he was scoring 40 points a game, but he wasn't doing it the right way or whatever the excuse was. You know, and then we basically were in the toilet for 3 years. I hope that's not the case this time. I mean, I didn't like Chaney did things that made me mad too. Goal line things, predictable offense in the second half, way too conservative, refusing to throw the ball like a grown-up. If it was his fault, we'll find out this year because all that'll change. But the main thing is Kirby Smart needs to leave him alone. Needs to leave Coley alone.
Yeah. Okay. I hope, you know, we can keep the defense guessing a little bit more this year because I felt like last year, you know, like you said, you come out in the second half, second quarter, it was just like run play, pass play. And then every single, you know, drive, it was just, or it was pass play, pass play, run play.
Run,
like,
pass, run,
you
pass.
know.
Yeah. No, I get
right,
it. The only two games over the last 2 seasons that I've seen Georgia run a non-predictable offense was the first half of both games against Alabama. If Georgia played football offensively like they played the first half against Alabama each of the last 2 years, they'd have a few more wins, and that would probably mean they'd have at least one more trophy.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We were, good and aggressive that I say second quarter, once we kind of got warmed up, and then, that fourth quarter we kind of like, I don't know what happened. We're just like stopped playing ball.
Not even the fourth quarter. We can't even get a first down against Alabama in the second half. It's just, it's bordering on pitiful at this point. We've scored like 10 or 13 points total in 2 games in the second half against Bama. That's an average of like 6.5 points per second half. You're not going to beat very many good teams scoring 6 points in the second half. It's just not going to happen.
Right. Also, I want to talk about the coaches poll a little bit. It's not your coaches poll, I understand, and you kind of said that you could see anybody from the top 4 to 8 or 7, but I think Notre Dame is overrated a lot, and 9 is, I think, a little bit disrespectful. Don't get me wrong, they got blew out by Clemson 30-0 last year. Absolutely embarrassed, but they still were the number 3 team in the nation. They're not in a conference though, but
right. I
think still they should be at least about 5 or 6, around there.
Yeah.
They were still undefeated, and I don't care who you're playing, undefeated is still undefeated.
Yeah. Who on this list that's ranked ahead of Notre Dame do you think Notre Dame can beat in 2019? And I don't know if you can see the list now, but so Florida, Michigan, okay. LSU, Ohio State. Could Notre Dame beat any of those teams?
They definitely can't beat LSU. At LSU, but it depends on where it's at. If it's
neutral
a home
game, site game. Can Notre Dame beat Florida at a neutral site game?
Well, okay. Michigan maybe, because Jim Harbaugh, he's crapped the bed several times.
Well, they got to play at Michigan. They got to play at Michigan and at Georgia this year. Notre Dame does, and they play Stanford. They play Virginia.
But if it's at neutral site in Michigan.
It's not at a neutral site. It's at Michigan. In any case, I understand what you're saying, but again, Notre Dame, they return almost their entire offense. They have an NFL defensive line. Ian Book's probably one of the best 6 or 7 quarterbacks in America. Like you said, they were 12-0 last year, made the playoffs. Yes, they lost by 30 points to Clemson. I'm looking at the top 25 right now. About 23 of these teams would lose by 30 points to Clemson if they played tomorrow. So it's not that embarrassing to lose by 30 points to Clemson. I hate Notre Dame. I think they should join a conference. Don't worry, they're not going to the playoffs this year. They're losing at least 2 games. They're losing on the road at Michigan, and they're losing on the road to Georgia. So at best, they'll be 10-2. They'll be nowhere near the playoffs. They'll be in a New Year's Six bowl where they'll lose their 9th straight major bowl game. So you don't have to worry too much about them. But hey, thank you for the call, though. I appreciate it also. And two, starts night. Thank you for the emoji with the smiling face and the sunglasses and the donation. Thank you, you good people. I'm assuming. Comic Dude 45, good morning. I'm excited for this football season, but if we lose to UMass, please include us in the Your Season is Over video. No worries. I will. Ohio sucks. This is a great screen name because it doesn't say Ohio State sucks. It says Ohio, which leads me to believe he's just talking about the state in general. Go Blue, and can you explain why you don't like BYU? They endorse, promote, and operate under a institutional bigotry. It's 2019, and I don't believe in most of what they. I'm trying to figure out how to say this by pissing the least amount of people off. I don't care what anyone's religious beliefs are. My problem is when you put them on other people, and I don't like. They're discriminatory against too many different groups of people. I'm not the only one that feels that way. That's why BYU is not in a Power 5 conference, because of that. They were this close to getting into the Big 12 4, 5, 6 years ago whenever all that rearranging happened. And the Big 12 presidents, all the Big 12 presidents voted unanimously not to include BYU in the Big 12 because they're bigots. And in this case, I agree with the presidents of the Big 12. I have no use for BYU at all. I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. If BYU was drowning in a swimming pool and I was the only one around that could save BYU's life, it would depend what clothes I had on, whether BYU lived or died. And that's about the nicest thing I can say about BYU. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou, it's the General. How's your morning going in that?
Going great. I hope you were educated earlier on the Pistol Pete show, on the Pigskin Pete show.
Yeah. Now on the Pistol Pete show, I never claimed that Tennessee was going to beat Georgia. I never made that claim.
Well, but still,
in fact,
you fall into the narrative though, because you did call him up and talk for 10 minutes and even explain the reasons why that Tennessee is more likely to beat Georgia than Florida. You went on about it for 10 minutes, and just like I said when I called in, not one time did you mention Vanderbilt, not one time did you mention South Carolina, not one time did you mention Missouri, not one time did you mention the other team from the SEC West that you play. So that's sort of my point.
Lou, did you listen to my call to Pete last week when I talked about how we could lose to BYU for 14 minutes?
I'm very busy. I'm very busy and important, and
about
unfortunately, I don't have time to listen to every single time that you've called in. But I was listening today when you called in, trying to convince people that Tennessee has a better chance of beating Georgia than they do Florida. And my only point is, I never hear Tennessee fans. I'll give you an opportunity now because I never hear this. All I want is for Tennessee fans, instead of talking about how they can beat Florida and Georgia, I want Tennessee fans to start calling me and these other shows and convince us why you're beating Vanderbilt or South Carolina or Missouri. That's all. That's it. That's my complaint.
Okay. So you want me to do that?
I mean, I want you to do what you want to do, but that's my issue. You know, you don't hear me talking about what Georgia needs to do to beat the New England Patriots. No, I'm trying to beat the next team that's right above us, which is Alabama, Clemson. You need to take that same approach. Okay?
Okay, look, but you know what fan is short for? Fan is short for fanatic.
Yes, believe me, I know.
Fans are not going to get on here and be excited, especially programs like Tennessee, where fans have seen this kind of success, the older ones. Listen, they're not going to be over here excited about wanting to beat Vandy. That's just not the way fans are. And, you know, maybe you have a point with that, and you probably do. But that's just not the nature of a fan to want to do that, or are they going to do that? And I agree with your point, but I just don't think that fans of any team would do that.
I just want you, and by the way, I'm going to use an expression here that I'm so tired of reading and hearing this expression, but I'm going to use it right now anyway, and then I'll probably ban it from this show. I just want you to keep that same energy, sir. I want you to keep that same energy when Tennessee goes 7-5 this year and then wins a bowl game and finishes 8-5. I don't want to hear from you all offseason about how happy you were with that 8-win season. Because you're a fanatic.
I predicted 7-5.
Right, but you're a fanatic.
What are you talking about?
You're a fanatic. You're a fanatic who calls up YouTube shows and talks about beating Florida and Georgia. So I don't want to hear next offseason about how happy you are that you beat Vandy and Mizzou and finished 7-5 and then beat Purdue in a bowl game.
What? No, Lou. Before that, I've talked about how we could possibly lose to BYU.
If you lose to BYU, I'm driving to your house and choking the life out of you in your sleep. You better not lose to BYU. Don't lose to UAB if you want. Don't lose to BYU. Don't do it.
Yes, but okay, fine. But my point is, it's not like I'm only calling up your show and talking about how we're going to beat Georgia, and I didn't even predict that. I said there was a better chance we beat Georgia than Florida. It's not like I'm only being that optimistic. I've also said that we have a chance of losing UAB and BYU. I mean, it's both sides. I'm not being overly optimistic here.
Can Southern Cal win the Pac-12 this year?
They can. They won't, but they can.
Would it be more realistic for Southern Cal fans to hope for maybe a bowl game?
Yes, but I didn't say we were going to. I was not hoping for that. I was not even saying that. I was just making a point, and my intent was not to say Tennessee was going to beat Georgia. That was not my intent. My intent was to make that point and say how good I think Florida. It's just a game of matchups.
I understand.
If you want to say Florida is better than Georgia, I'm not going to say that.
Listen,
because that's not true.
You're one of my favorite. You're one of my
Florida.
favorite people, man. You know how I do. I listen to these other shows, and I just wait on somebody to call in and say something that I can respond to. That's all. You just happen to be the first one that called in when I clicked on the Pigskin Pete show today. So you were just lucky today, I guess. It's nothing against you.
Okay. Now, I do have a question for you though.
Okay, I'll do my best to answer it.
Okay, I know you do. Do you give me a percent chance Tennessee beats Georgia this season? Give me a percent chance.
15.
That's higher than I expected from you, honestly. Now, give me a percentage chance that Tennessee loses to BYU.
1.
That's why I like your show. Have a nice night.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Tennessee better not lose to BYU. Better not happen. All right, don't forget we got the college football fantasy draft coming up at 11:15. Now, if any of you, the draft is full. Has anyone seen Waikiki in the chats, by the way? He's in charge of this league. The league is full, but I'm willing to bet that at least one or two of the people who are signed up are not going to show. I'm not, that's just usually the way these things go. So if you're interested in doing the college football fantasy thing, stick around for another 10 or 15 minutes. And if anyone doesn't show, I'm guessing there's a way Waikiki can boot those people out of the league and we can add you. Good morning, and you're on with Uncle Lou, though, too. I didn't answer it in time. Sorry you hung up. Call back. Sorry about that also. And also, thank you, everybody, for the super chats, too. I did read through them all, but just thank y'all again. Ohio Sucks, Comic Dude, Starch Knight, Celine Driver, Troy Moses, Slim Shady Canes, and the Anti-Snowbird. Thank you guys for the super chats. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I owe you guys a lot, man. Over these last couple of months, you guys have really helped me out. We're way over the goal of 20,000. We're hit 21,000 soon. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Lou, how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Outstanding.
Okay, good.
I had a question for you.
Okay.
I watched your video earlier today. Why did you spend 5 minutes trying to coddle these snowflake Gators fans over why they're going 9-3?
I know. I should have spent 15. Have you seen the comments? These people are in their field something serious. They act like Uncle Lou came over and slapped their mama and stole their firstborn child. It's amazing. And the thing is, in the video, I went out of my way to say, look, and I do this all the time. It wasn't just a Florida thing. I say, teams lose to teams they're not supposed to lose to all the time. Yes, you're better than Kentucky. You may beat Kentucky, fine. But I gave them wins against Auburn, South Carolina, Missouri. I mean, Missouri's beat them by a combined 80 points the last 2 years. So the main point is they're going 9-3. They may beat Kentucky, I don't know, but they're going 9-3 though. I'm sticking with what I said. They're losing to Kentucky. Screw it.
Well, I agree they're going to lose to Kentucky. I don't think they're going to go 9-3 because I think they're going to go down to the SEC's ultimate troll, and that's Gus Malzahn.
No!
He is going to figure out a way. He is going to figure out a way to squeak out enough wins to keep him at Auburn.
I tell you what'll be interesting to watch. You don't see any way they lose to Miami, though, do you?
100%.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll see. Here's the thing.
You don't recognize my voice? It's Slim Shady.
Oh, I'm sorry. But listen, here's what I love you, but I'm rolling with Florida in that one. But here's what I'm watching in that Florida-Miami game. If Florida's offensive line, for some reason, can't handle Miami's defensive line, they're in for big problems against Auburn, because as good as I think Miami's line, I'd take Miami's linebackers stack up against anyone else's. The linebackers absolutely elite. Defensive line is good, but I'll just be honest. I think Auburn's defensive line is even better. So if Florida's having trouble with Miami's offensive line, which I expect they might, then Auburn could have a field day with them because Auburn's defensive line is absolutely ridiculous. Auburn's defensive line is about this close to Clemson's defensive line from last year. That's how good it is.
Right. And I don't disagree with what you said that it would be an upset for Miami to beat Florida, but I still think they're going to. I agreed with some of the points you made in your video. Some of them I think, like for instance, you referenced all the talk that's been going on about the quarterbacks. The majority of all that is just people's opinions, though. You know, I'm kind of taking my opinion on the quarterback situation out of what comes out of the coaches' mouths.
Which is what? So far, I haven't kept up with what the coaches have said.
So far, they haven't said a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, they said everybody looks better than they did in the spring. Perry and Williams both look better than they did last year. You know, from the film I've been able to see, which, you know, usually isn't much. I mean, yeah,
In the 305, bitches treat me like I'm Uncle Lou.
Tate looks good on short passes. He needs to work on the deep ball. Maybe get a little taller. That might help. But I don't think there's as much controversy over the quarterback as people are making out to be. I think the coaches have probably got a clear idea of who it is at this point.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now. If Miami wins that game, I'm going to go live like I always do after big games like that. I'm going to laugh for a long time at Florida. And then I'm going to sit right here in this chair. I'm going to pull up today's Florida video and probably the last 2 or 3 videos that I've made during this offseason about Florida. And I'm going to read every single comment. I don't care if it takes me 12 hours. I'm going to read every one of them live.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to read every Florida comment. Every single one. Especially the ones that I'm just going to read them all. It just will be hilarious. I mean,
like I said, I think they're going to be throwing themselves into wood chippers by the time that game's over. I think Miami's going to give them more problems than people think. I'm not as worried about the O-line as you are. I mean, you do have a valid point in what you said, but being a glutton for punishment, I'm also a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, which is where their new offensive line coach come from.
I want to hear you say it. You're a Jameis Winston fan. I want to hear you. I want to hear a Miami Hurricanes fan tell me that he's a Jameis Winston. I want to hear you say it.
I will say I'm a Derek Brooks fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a beast. He was.
I like Derek Brooks. But, no, the year before he got to Tampa Bay, they didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher. His first year at Tampa Bay, Doug Martin ran for almost 1,500 yards by himself. This guy can have an impact on an offensive line. That's why I'm a little less worried about it than I think you are.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Still something to be worried about.
Yeah.
Totally. But I think I'm a little less than you are. And then, you know, say if he can get the offensive line at least serviceable.
Yeah.
I think that will help fix a lot of the offensive problems. And then if Enos can work with quarterbacks here like he has in the past, I think they'll be okay.
How much do you love Warwick Dunn?
I liked Warwick Dunn when he was there too.
Now,
I got respect for Florida State. They kept us on the schedule.
Now I want you to do this with me. Are you ready? Are you ready?
No, I hate James Winston. But and see, this is where I think it'll be fun. I'm as much as I would like to see them dethroned. I hope Alabama beats Georgia one more time, and here's why: it'll be for a good cause. Because I think me and you going back and forth on Hate Week can make a Miami-Georgia bowl game really, really good.
I hope Florida beats you 500-0 for that. Hey, Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks had one of the greatest football quotes of all time when he was at Florida State. My grandfather was a huge Florida State fan. Well, really, he was a Bobby Bowden fan. My granddad thought Bobby Bowden. It was like God, Jesus Christ, Bobby Bowden. But anyway, so he used to talk about Florida State all the time. So I kept up with him a little bit when I was a kid. But they asked Derek Brooks one time, what does it feel like when you're on the field and you just make that perfect hit? And he said, I don't know. And the reporter said, well, what do you mean you don't know? And he's like, well, I've never made the perfect hit. And the reporter goes, well, what do you think how do you know you haven't made the perfect hit? And he goes, because they've never had to call a trauma helicopter to land on the 50-yard line and haul somebody out of here. I said, damn. Now, that was back, this was a long time ago when, like, hurting people was, like, I mean, I hate to say it now, but, like, that was the goal. I mean, I played high school football in the 90s, and, you were trying to take people out. I mean, it was coached.
I've seen helicopters land on high school fields.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good. But, hey, I got to let you run. We're fixing to start this fantasy. Oh, go ahead, real quick. Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of Derek Brooks, how awkward do you think it was for him and Warren Sapp to be teammates the rookie year?
Ooh. Probably pretty awkward, but were they both still on the team when they won the Super Bowl?
Until the next year, anyway.
Oh, okay. Wait, thanks for the call. I got to let you run. We're getting ready to start this fantasy football draft. What time is it? Is Waikiki here yet? He better be here and ready to start this draft because I don't know anything about this. What time is it? 11:08. Let me. It's supposed to start at 11:15. So again, if you're here and you're wanting to do this college football draft and you're not already in the league, just hold up a few minutes because there's probably going to be at least a couple people who don't show up because we were supposed to do this Tuesday night, but it was technical errors, so it got moved to today. The link to the draft is in the description of this video where it says link to draft. So, yeah. Let me go fill up my water. I'll be right back also in addition to that as well.
warrior struggling to remain consequential.
Well, it looks like Uncle Lou has the 7th pick in the draft. So, I'm going to get somebody good. Ooh, Rondale Moore. Maybe I better not give my strategy away. Yeah, I better not give my strategy away. Bevo 2020. Oh, some potato Texas fan has the first pick. I wonder who Tua for Heisman is going to draft with the number 2 pick there. I wonder. Who'd they pick? I missed it. Where does it say who they're picking? We should have did ESPN. Oh, I see. Somebody took Rondale Moore. Damn it! Who did that to me? Oh my God. Now somebody took Jonathan Taylor. That's who I really wanted for real. I was just kidding about Rondale Moore, and someone fell for it. But I did want Jonathan Taylor. Jesus. Who's taking Justin Fields? Justin Fields is ranked is 12th on the board in this. What is going on here? Oh my God. Who am I going to take? Oh my God. You got to take Big 12 offense first, don't you? How much time do I have? Oh my God. This is too much pressure. I do like Laviska Shenault. I'm not going to lie. I just don't trust his quarterback. But he might be the best receiver in all of college football, not named Jerry Jeudy. Of course, somebody picked Jerry Jeudy out from under me, too. I swear to God. I'm taking Justin Fields. Oh, God. I'm afraid to take DeAndre Swift because they're going to take him out in the second half. I just know how Kirby is. Oh, my God. Who do I want to take? I got 10 seconds. How do I draft him? I clicked on him. How do I draft him? Oh, God. Who did I get? That's not even who I wanted. I clicked on the guy I wanted. How do you draft? I'm so mad. I'm so mad. How do I draft a guy? I clicked on the guy I wanted. Oh, I'm so mad. I wanted Jalen Hurts. I'm so damn mad. This Yahoo is potato. I'm not doing Yahoo again. Well, that Chenault better have a big year. I wanted Jalen Hurts. This is ridiculous. I like that Bryce Perkins pick, whoever picked him. That's a good pick. I'm so mad I didn't get Jalen Hurts. Yeah, thank you, Logan. Oh, somebody did draft Justin Fields. I like that J.K. Dobbins pick, too. Whoever that was that got him got a good one. Adrian Martinez, that's a good pick, too. Yeah, I'm not taking Felipe Franks. No. T. Higgins will be. Somebody will probably take T. Higgins before it's my turn. FSU is not top 10 all time. I disagree. They weren't good at all until the 90s. That's like saying Florida's top 10 all time. Neither of those statements are true. Yeah, somebody took T. Higgins. Oh, God. All right, it's my turn again. Who do I take here? Y'all tell me in the comments. Who do I take here? I do like Kellen Mond. I really need a running back, though. Should I take C.J. Verdell? God. You know what? I'm going to take Kelly Bryant. Mizzou's starting 7-0. Kelly Bryant will put up some monster numbers early in the season. Justin Ross is gone already, isn't he? Somebody already got him early, I think. There's no way he's still left on here. If that's who you're talking about when you said Ross. I took Kelly Bryant. I got to take a running back next. Running backs are hard. I should have taken a running back first round. They're hard to get good running backs in fantasy football. Somebody drafted that Mizzou tight end, that Okabama Yang. Remember that video? I tried 9 times to say that guy's name. All right. I'm taking Cam Akers. I like Jared Pinkney, tight end, Vandy, but I don't know if I can trust their quarterback this year to get him enough balls. I haven't noticed if any Tennessee players got drafted or not. I'm sure Juwan Jennings will get drafted at some point. My guess is that would probably be the only one. No Georgia Tech players. Has anybody drafted Jake Fromm? I never saw him on the list anywhere. Somebody let me know in the comments if somebody drafted Jake Fromm. I'm guessing no, since he only throws for 2,700 yards and runs for negative 30. He's probably way down the list. They got Jacob Eason rated higher on here than Fromm and Fields. Fields and Eason both rated ahead of Fromm in fantasy football. Zero chance I'm drafting a defense in the fourth round. No. Yeah, Swift went early. The league is full. The maximum number of teams that would let us do is 20. Oh, this is a free league. We didn't do a money league. Yeah, somebody took Ian Book. I think Ian Book was like maybe I don't know, but someone took him in, I think, the second or third round. Did somebody draft Jacob Eason and I missed it? Somebody did draft him. I don't see him on there anymore. No, Trevor Lawrence didn't go number one. Rondale Moore went number one. Tua went number 2. Jonathan Taylor went 3rd. Jerry Jeudy went 4. Travis Etienne went 5. Benjamin, running back, Arizona State, went 6th. Chenault, wide receiver, Colorado, went 7th. Trevor Lawrence went 8th. I honestly don't think anybody will draft Fromm in a fantasy football league. You're not going to get any rushing yards from him, and he's going to throw for around 3,000. I'm not sure he has a lot of fantasy value. I wouldn't take him in a fantasy league. Oh, this is college football chat. Cheryl, if you're bored, ask someone to show you how to click off the video. Yeah, somebody did take Fromm. I'm surprised. They must have had to search deep down that list to find him. I would take Jacob Eason over Shea Patterson in a fantasy league. Jacob Eason could throw for 4,000 yards this year. Oh, somebody took Eason too. Somebody took Clemson defense in the 4th round. Oh, not sure if new to fantasy football or defense and kicker should be the last 2 things you pick. Oh, I see who I'm taking if nobody beats me to it. I have my eye on somebody. Oh, is it my turn? Yeah. Watch this winner right here. Kennedy Brooks, OU running back. Grown ass man. Grown man. He might be the best running back in the Big 12. I'm not kidding either. This guy is a beast, Kennedy Brooks. Thank you. I'll take him. Thank you. What do I need now? I probably need another wide receiver. I need a wide receiver or maybe I need a wide receiver or a tight end. Who can I get though? Oh, I think I see. I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I know what I'm going to do here. I didn't see who typed it, but someone commented, join my league, sent you a DM. DM where? I don't know that I'll join any more leagues, but you better email me. That's probably the only way I'll see it. I'm not sure what you mean when you said you DM'd me, unless you're talking about Twitter. If you message me on Twitter, that's fine, or email. Those are the 2 places to send it. I can't promise you I'll do it. It depends when the draft is and all that kind of stuff, but I'll look into it if you email it to me or message it to me on Twitter. Oh, shoot. Where'd my guy go? Did somebody take my guy? No. So where is he now? I don't know what to do. I need a tight end. Oh, I see a Tennessee player on here, Ty Chandler, running back. I think that's the first Tennessee player I've seen. All right, I need a wide receiver or a tight end. I'm screwed at tight end. I'm going to take this guy. Penn State tight end. I need a wide receiver now. I need a wide receiver bad, don't I? And of course, as soon as I say that, everybody starts picking wide receivers. Thank you, I'm Case. I'm glad you've been entertained, because I'm not gonna lie, I entertain myself doing these. I have a lot of fun doing these videos, so I'm just glad. I'm just glad, some of you guys enjoy it. I have a great time with these videos, hanging out with y'all, talking college football year round. Obviously, it's coming up now on the real deal, the actual season. But I mean, we have fun on this channel in March and April, even. So. This channel really has helped me make it through the off season the last couple of years. It seems like the off season takes forever, but having you guys talk with during the off season makes it go by quicker to me anyway. Thank you, Zachary. I appreciate that, and that's exactly what I try to do. I don't know. I try to make the type of videos that I would like to watch, and I've just gotten lucky in that it turns out a lot of other people like to watch them too. But I like to be entertained when I watch people on YouTube. I mean, if I just want stats or news, I can get that off the internet. I like to be entertained when I watch people on YouTube, so I try to keep it entertaining. Sometimes I cross the line with the trash talk, but it's meant for entertainment. If people take it personally, if I talk about their team, then honestly that says more about them than it does me. So I'm glad you can take it the right way, and most of you do. I like watching Texas and Oklahoma fans argue over who's going to lose in round one of the playoffs between the two of them. Yay, we won Big 12. We get to lose in round one of the playoffs this year. All right, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this guy. Needed a wide receiver. Welcome to the team, Mr. Pittman. LSU versus Texas. I picked LSU in that game in my preseason videos. They play week 2, so I pick all the games every week during the season, but in terms of preseason predictions, I picked LSU. So we'll see if I change my mind when that game comes around. Russell Westbrook might have just left the dumbest comment in the history of the internet. Georgia will lose to Auburn, A&M, Florida, and Notre Dame. Anybody that thinks Georgia is going to lose to the only 4 good teams they play is either brand new to football, trolling, or special needs. One of those 3 things is true. Any Auburn fan want to explain to me why Darius Slayton and Ryan Davis are NA? Wee. Oh, Jacob James is trying to, who's the guy that left the dumbest comment about Georgia losing all those games? Jacob James is trying to steal your crown, sir. He says either Georgia or Florida is going to lose to Tennessee in a big upset. Tennessee needs to worry about upsetting Vanderbilt or Missouri before they start worrying about Georgia and Florida. Yeah, UGA's got a good vet program. Yeah, Porter, you definitely you just won the award with that one. Oh, JT seems angry. Tell Dr. Lou what seems to be bothering you today, JT. Uncle Lou has a head up his ass. A head, not mine. So someone else's? Tell Uncle Lou about it, JT. Your feelings matter here. What seems to be the problem, sir?
Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
Ten and 2 is not unreasonable, but I don't think that's happening. Oh, my turn. Give me Nico Collins. Round out my wide receivers. I like my wide receivers now. I'm good. Georgia's goal isn't to go 12-0. The goal is to get to Atlanta with 2 or less losses, so that if we win the SEC title, we get to the playoffs. That's the goal. The goal isn't to go 12-0. The goal is to make the playoffs. Jimbo Fisher is a championship coach. So is Gene Chizik. What's he up to these days? Fresno or Boise? I'll take Boise. I think Oregon's about right. They're at 13 in the coaches poll that just came out. I think that's about right for Oregon right now. Miami or Virginia? I think I picked Miami to win that game when I did the Miami preview. I think. But I have Virginia winning that division, though. Oh, yeah, Alabama's on the list of previews to do. Bama or Rutgers? Come on now. South Carolina preview. Didn't I already do a South Carolina preview? I'm pretty sure I did. They're starting to run together now because I've done almost 20, but I'm pretty sure I've already done South Carolina. Prediction on Heisman, it'll either be Tua or Trevor, whoever has the best stats between those two. Notre Dame or Virginia? I took Notre Dame because it's at Notre Dame, but that's probably Notre Dame's third or fourth toughest game this year. But it's at Notre Dame, so I picked Notre Dame in that one when I did the Notre Dame preview. LSU and Oklahoma don't play. If I go to any games this year, it'll be the Texas A&M game, but I haven't decided yet. The email is in the description of all my videos. This year, I would take South Florida over Georgia Tech. Oh, it's my turn to draft. Leave me alone. Let's go with... Who should I take here? Rico Dowdle? No, thank you. Well, I don't know who to take. Who should I take here? I don't see anybody named Wood Anderson. I'm probably looking right at it, but I don't see anybody named Wood Anderson. Oh, right here, Darius Anderson. I'm just going to assume that's who you're talking about, and I'm going to take him. It's the only person I saw with the name Anderson, so that's who I took. I don't know if that's who you're talking about or not. I like Kadarius Toney. He's an exciting player to watch. Jarrett Garantano showing up way down here. Joe Burrow. Garantano is ahead of Joe Burrow on this list. Wow, that's embarrassing. Notre Dame won't have a good enough record to have a Heisman winner. And he's not going to have anywhere near the stats of Tua or Trevor Lawrence. I think Adrian Martinez has a better shot than Ian Book. Take Rodrigo Blankenship. I should take Georgia, but do we? This isn't a special teams league, I guess. Good morning, Lambo. Swift won't get enough touches to be considered for the Heisman. If any running backs, to me, the only two running backs that even have a remote possibility at the Heisman this year is, really only one, Jonathan Taylor, and even that's a long shot. I'm taking KJ Costello as my backup quarterback at Stanford. I don't think ETN has a shot because of Trevor Lawrence and those wide receivers. I mean, I think ETN is one of the best 2 or 3 running backs in college football. I mean, DeAndre Swift, ETN, Jonathan Taylor. To me, those are the 3 best running backs in college football. But it's just so hard for a running back to win a Heisman. I mean, Jonathan Taylor has had over 2,000 yards rushing each of his first 2 years, and nothing. I mean, he could go over 6,000 yards for his career this year, and I still don't think that'll be enough for him to win the Heisman this year. I think it's Tua or Trevor. Did somebody draft Zamir White? Or is he not on here? Who drafted Zamir White? One of you knuckleheads drafted Zamir White, didn't you? I am not taking a Tennessee tight end. That's who you keep talking about? You're out of your mind. I'm not taking a Tennessee tight end. Stop it. Embarrassing yourself. Well, I looked under White. It wasn't there. So somebody must have drafted him already. He's not on here. I guess somebody drafted him already. I don't know. Oh, Waikiki took Zamir White. I had to work out a trade. Zamir White didn't play in the spring game. If that's who you're asking about. Oh, I like Milton. I think he's going to be great. Yeah, there's an Auburn character. If you can find it on my channel. He's new. I think he's only been in one video. There's a playlist called 2019 Superfans or something. There's 4 or 5 videos in there. You can find the Auburn character in there. Somebody drafted Demetrius Robertson too. Y'all are killing me here. I'm gonna draft George Pickens. Screw y'all. No, I don't have a South Carolina. Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Miami. Somebody got Lynn Bowden. He's long gone. Who is Tyler? Who is Tyler Davis? You gotta start telling me who these people are. Don't just tell me draft Tyler Davis and I don't know who the hell he is. Georgia Tech tight end. Okay, I ought to put you in timeout just for typing that. You type Tyler Davis again, you're going to. In fact, you type any Georgia Tech player again. Why in the hell would anybody draft any Georgia Tech player in 2019 in a fantasy football league? I have a Georgia Tech one. Y'all need to go back and start watching some of these. Just type in Uncle Lou Superfan or something. I'm sure you'll find a lot of it. I mean, there's playlists for a lot of these things. You'll find them. But yeah, there's a Georgia Tech one too. He's in a bunch of videos. Georgia's been a national brand for a while. I already have 2 quarterbacks. I'm not taking another one. And if I was, it wouldn't be Jake Bentley. He's an interception machine. I need a running back, really, is what I need. Trey Sanders finally going to get on the field this year? Is Trey Sanders going to play? Is Trey Sanders going to play a red shirt? They're going to red shirt him, aren't they? They're so loaded they don't need him. That's sad. James Cook. Oh, God. It just screams of desperation. I mean, I'd almost rather take Brian Herrien than James Cook. Yeah, Ty Chandler's gone. All right, I gotta have a running back here. Give me this guy from Kansas State. Big 12 ain't got no defense. All right, let's see here. I need a tight end now. Who is Stokes? Y'all got to stop asking me, is Stokes drafted? I mean, I don't know. I don't know every single player. There's 100 players on every team, and there's 130 teams. I don't know every player on every team. Draft Stokes. That tells me absolutely nothing. So don't type stuff like that again. Lambo, have you ever played fantasy football? I'm going to guess no. You don't draft defensive backs, sir. Who is the preview video for tomorrow? Let me look on I got the list here. Let me look and I'll let you know. Who did I do today? Florida? Did Florida today? So it's gonna be Washington Huskies. Let's see. You said Oklahoma State. Hold on. They're not even. Here's the list of what's left to do from Patreon suggestions. So these will be the next videos that come out. Washington State, Mizzou, Florida, UGA, Arkansas, Vandy, Kansas State, Michigan State, App State, and Marshall. Those teams have been requested for Patreon members, so I have to do those first. Once I'm done with the request from Patreon members, then I'll move on to other teams like you mentioned, Oklahoma State. I'll do Ohio State. I can't believe nobody suggested Ohio State, but I'll do that. So I mean, all the big teams will be done by the time the season starts, but I'm doing the Patreon suggestions first. And I just read off the list of who that is. So. You mean somebody drafted Charlie Warner right before it was my turn to pick? Oh my God, you people. Hell, I'm drafting this Iowa tight end. They had 2 tight ends taken in the first round last year. I need a tight end. Oh, God. I guess I'm taking this butthole. Rob, you're just now seeing the broken TV video? You might be the only person left on the internet who hadn't seen that yet. What's up, Glee? I'm doing good. How are you, sir? You think if I scroll all the way to the bottom of this defense list, I'll see Oklahoma? Look at Oklahoma. There, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 defenses worse than Oklahoma's in fantasy football. That is something serious. I took Michigan State defense. Prince 6'1" just told some serious truth. The only one who stuck around after week 2, Prince. You are 100% right. And for any of y'all that like rage videos, you should subscribe to Carolina Jackpotty before the season starts, because he's going to have plenty of them this year, and they're gold. You might be right, Owen. I mean, the schedule is just brutal. They could win 7 games and be a better team than they were last year. Or the year before. Nobody wants Cam Martin from Auburn, huh? I know nobody's going to be dumb enough to take an Alabama kicker. Red Line's been open and closed a bunch of times, and I don't know whether it's open or closed right now, because it's been years since I've been there. But it seems like I read something somewhere recently where it was sold or bought or something, so maybe it's getting ready to reopen, but I'm not 100% sure. I spent many a nights at the Red Line pub many years ago, though. If I go to a game this year, it'll be the Texas A&M game, but I haven't decided yet. But if you keep up with the channel, I always let everybody know whenever I'm going to a game. it's about an hour and a half on a normal day. On a game day, it's about 2 hours. Well, I stream the Georgia games live on my Patreon page, but I post halftime videos and post game videos to the YouTube channel. So as soon as the first half ends, I upload a halftime video, and as soon as the game ends, I upload a post game reaction video. I grew up right across the street from the Masters. Now I live about 15 minutes away. I grew up in a neighborhood called National Hills, which is the Masters, the Augusta National, is on Washington Road. On the other side of Washington Road, right across the street from that, is a neighborhood called National Hills, and I grew up in that neighborhood on Azalea Drive. But I live that was when I was a kid. I live about 15 minutes away now. What is my take on Gwinnett? What, the city of Gwinnett? I don't really have a take on the city of Gwinnett. Stib baloney gone. I'm taking the Nebraska kicker. Depends where you live, Slim, but I mean, I live in Augusta, so basically I go from Augusta to Thompson to Washington, Georgia, and then I turn left on whatever state road that is that runs from Washington to Athens. So if you live on that road, then I probably do drive right by your house. Yeah, I know where the high school is in Oglethorpe. Yeah, I do drive right by there. I don't think Nebraska will win the Big Ten, but I think they have a chance to win the Big Ten West. I think they would lose in the championship game to either Ohio State or Michigan, whoever they played. There's a good I mean, Mizzou could be 8, and I think Mizzou will definitely be 6-0, 7. I mean, there's a strong possibility they'll be 6-0 or 7-0 or even 8-0, and almost 100% possibility they won't be any worse than 1 or 2 losses at that point. Their schedule the first half of the season is really easy. During the day, I make videos and upload them. That's my day job. And at night, I do live streams on YouTube. So that's my night job. A&M is a tougher game than Notre Dame, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that I think A&M is better than Notre Dame. That's not what that means. You have to look at a lot of things other than you have to look at when you're playing those teams, what part of the season it comes in, who you play the week before and the week after those teams. I think the Texas A&M will be tougher for Georgia this year than the Notre Dame game. Sweet 16 in basketball, not this year, but I do think Georgia should be a team that makes the NCAA tournament on a regular basis. Sweet 16 is probably a little out of reach right now. Maybe a couple of years down the road, another good recruiting class or two. Tom Crean's only been there 1 year, but we should be making the NCAA tournament more than once or twice every 10 years. How many SEC teams ranked in the top 25 at the end of the season? Georgia, Florida, Missouri, Alabama, LSU, 1 or 2 more. I'm going to say 6 or 7. I can't believe Ibrahim's still available. I'm going to take him. It's because they play 3 running backs, but I'm going to take him. No, I started doing YouTube full time 2 or 3 years ago. I've been doing YouTube since 2014, I think, but it started as just a hobby. I don't know about Texas A&M. Their schedule is just brutal. I mean, they could have 5 losses, and that might knock them out of the top 25. I think they're one of the best 25 teams. I just don't know that they'll finish in the top 25 because of their record. You called in about Scott Foley earlier. I don't remember that. I don't even know who Scott Foley is. You called in this show? I don't remember, but I don't have a good memory sometimes. Where were you at the debate, Lou? I don't. What? I don't even know what you're talking about. And you spelled "your" wrong, so you gotta do a lot better than that. I don't. The Browns are not going deep in the playoffs. No. We're not talking politics in here, and I'm not going to give any more warnings. Ty says, all right, Lou, I'll work on the grammar. Of course, all right is supposed to have 2 L's in it. I don't want the college football playoffs expanded, but they're going to expand. And probably in 2025 when the current TV deal expires, they're going to go to 8 teams. That would be my guess, but I don't think it should, but it will. It's just too much money involved now. Baker Mayfield is nothing like Big Ben. I don't see the comparison at all between those two. I mean, we have 4 teams that get in now, and all but like 2 or 3 of the playoff games we've ever had have been blowouts. So if the number 4 team is getting blown out by the number 1 team almost every single year, who wants to see the number 8 team play the number 1 team? I mean, it's only going to be worse. Dark horse for what? To win a national title? I really don't think there's a dark horse that can win a national title this year. I think you could have some dark horses, maybe win some divisions or some conference titles, but I don't think a dark horse is going to be winning a national title this year. Yeah, Baker does remind me a little bit of Brett Favre. It won't stop people from getting their feelings hurt if they expand to playoffs. Instead of the team that's ranked 5th and 6th getting their feelings hurt, it'll be the team that's ranked 9th and 10th getting their feelings. There's always going to be the team that almost got in, no matter how. If you have 16 teams in a playoff, the 17th team is going to say it's not fair. So, I mean, that's never going to end. Dark horse Heisman, Adrian Martinez. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, to me, anybody other than Trevor or Tua is a dark horse. Oh, it's my turn. Picking up scrubs for the bench here. Let's see, we need some bench riders here. Who wants to ride the pine on Uncle Lou's team here? Who wants to ride the pine? This guy can ride the pine. There you go. Who's the worst player? I should just pick the worst Tennessee player I can find. Look at this. Ian Donald McIntyre, UGA, running back. I don't even know who that is. Who's this Tater? Darian Rencher. D'Angelo Gibbs. Dude plays defensive back. Unless Tennessee's going to move him somewhere. Alright, let's see here. My turn again. Who we want here? AJ Turner. No. I don't know. I'll take this guy. Well, I'm pretty sure I win the league. I wish I wouldn't have drafted this guy first, though. That was an accident. I really, that's not who I wanted. Just being real here. Let me see. What am I doing here? I mean, the draft is over, so. What is this now? Who am I playing week 1, though? Oh, it looks like Uncle Lou is playing Waikiki week 1. Good luck, Waikiki. I don't know what else to tell you, sir. You're most likely going to lose, though, in 2 and also. No, I haven't watched Last Chance U since season 2. I think Jermaine Johnson's going to be really good this year, though. Oh, hello, Jace Daniels. Good morning, sir. I can't play Tool anymore on YouTube. That's only on Patreon now. No, Waikiki, is no. You don't have to be sorry about my week 1 lose, sir. I'm not losing week 1. I will be dominating you week 1 without a problem. I didn't see anybody draft Bo Nix, but I'm pretty sure somebody did. Nobody drafted. Somebody had to have drafted Bo Nix. Yeah, somebody drafted Bo Nix. Somebody probably drafted Joey Gatewood too. Yeah, I can't use the Tool on YouTube anymore, so the season is over videos and the hype and hate video won't have Tool music in it. You gotta go over to they will on the Patreon page, but not on YouTube. I can't get my channel shut down. Yeah, I didn't mean to draft Chenault. That was my first pick too. I meant to draft Jalen Hurts. No, I like Laviska Shenault, but I had the 6th or 7th pick overall. I wasn't going to draft him 6th or 7th overall in the first round. I meant to draft Jalen Hurts, and I didn't know what I was doing. I usually use ESPN, and I kept clicking on his name, thinking that would draft him, and I didn't know you had to click on his name and then click up here, up at the top for something else. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I know we got Kendall Milton. There's a link in the description of this video and every other video that says support the channel. If you click that link, it'll take you to the Patreon page. All right, draft's over. So just letting everyone know. Where's my team at? Man, my team is straight stacked. Why does it? Wait a minute. What? It doesn't have my team on here. Maybe it takes a while. I don't know. Yep. Draft complete. Yes, draft is complete. All right. Here, I'll put here's my team. It's on the right-hand side here. Can y'all read that? Let me see if I make it bigger for you. Hold on, I'm gonna make it bigger for you, and I'll show you. Quarterback Kelly Bryant. Wide receivers are Chenault, Pittman, and Collins. Running back Cam Akers and Kennedy Brooks. Tight end, whatever that name is, from Penn State. And then my flex player is the running back from TCU. My kicker is the kicker from Nebraska. My starting defense is Michigan State's defense. And then riding the pine as backups, I have KJ Costello, Stanford quarterback, George Pickens, Georgia wide receiver, Gilbert, Kansas State running back, whatever that name is, Utah tight end, Muhammad Ibrahim, Minnesota running back. He's really good, but they play a bunch of running backs there. And then Barry, OSU tight end, and Fontenot, whatever that guy is, Colorado running back. So that's Uncle Lou's team. So there's the starters again. There's the starters right there. That's a stacked team right there. Kennedy Brooks is a grown man. I'm just letting everyone know now. He was a freshman last year. But he was the best running back on their team last year, in my opinion. I think he'll be the best one again. I mean, he's fun to watch too. I'm no Oklahoma fan, but that dude's the real deal. And Cam Akers is a top 5 running back in America. The problem is he plays behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. I'm just hoping he has a good year. He was terrible last year behind that line. He did okay his freshman year last year, but everybody did bad last year at Florida State. I'm hoping he has a bounce back year this year, but he'll be playing in the NFL. Cam Akers will. But, hey, anyway, I'm going to end the stream. It's been about 3 hours or something now. I don't know. How long has it been? Yeah, 2.5 hours. Anyway, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We did phone calls for a while. That was good. And then fantasy draft. Now, keep in mind, I think I told y'all this last week, but next week, I won't, there's no live shows next week because I'll be out of town. Uncle Lou's going to the beach for some rest and relaxation before I start the grind here for the football season on LouTube. So I'll be gone to the beach all next week. I've got videos recorded, preview and prediction videos recorded to post every day while I'm gone, but there won't be any live shows, at least not call-in shows. I may go live spontaneously a night or two at the beach. I'm sitting out by the pool. I think I did that last year. I might do that, but I'm not going to guarantee it, so don't count on it. But if you happen to get a notification that I'm live, that's fine, but we won't be doing the call-in shows like this next week at night. The week after that, we get back to regular schedule Tuesday and Thursday. Call-in shows, getting real close to the season here. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining in tonight. Thanks again to everybody that donated in the super chat, and to all you guys that took the time to watch tonight. I really appreciate it, and I'll see y'all again real soon. Have a great morning.